Welcome, Solarah here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm here to do a reading. This is probably going to be the first of a few shorter readings, and that is because I've been receiving a lot of back-to-back downloads, and they don't feel like, a lot of them feel like they fit together, but like they're not supposed to be all in one big reading. So these will be shorter ones, and for those of you who know me and have hung with me for a minute, you know that my shorter readings are anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So they're not necessarily that much short. They're not necessarily short, but they are shorter than some of my longer readings, because my Virgo likes to get into shit, likes to dig. So welcome if you're visiting for the first time. I invite you to stay if you're vibing with the messages I've been sent to share with the collective, but more importantly, if you're vibing with my frequency. It's really important right now that we only stay in places and around people where we are in alignment, okay, for our own growth and balance. It's really important, okay? Like I will always say, I'm not here for everyone. I really am not. So if you don't like me, that's fine. You don't have to like me, but you can also keep it moving so that you can attune with somebody who you do like, because it actually is better for you. Okay, so if you are returning, welcome. If you are a subscriber and a supporter, welcome. Thank you to those of you who support me across platforms, those of you who've joined me over from Substack, those of you who've gone over to Substack from YouTube. I really do appreciate all the ways you appreciate me and you help me to live in my purpose, okay? Just a quick announcement, and if you don't want to hear this, I will timestamp it and you can move forward to the message. There's a few announcements, a few additions coming through that I want to share with the collective. I am now sharing Daily Alchemy audibly over on a channel that is called Daily Alchemy with Solarah. It is my former channel that I have stripped of old content, and I am just publishing over there Daily Alchemy audio messages through this window of time, because that was my guidance. For those of you who are unaware of what Daily Alchemy is, I've been writing Daily Alchemy now for almost 2 years. It is, I do like 4 to 5 weekly messages based upon the present ascension energies and how they're coming through. As I've made my home on Substack 4 months ago, Daily Alchemy has changed in the sense that the messages are now longer and they have more of, like personal essay style, because I will also include on any day what it is I'm going through, what it is I'm alchemizing, to share with you more personally what the energies are here to assist and what they're doing for me in the transit, to make it more relatable in many ways, and also because one of my first loves is writing, and I like to do a lot of memoir type personal essay stuff, which you will also find over on Substack. If you have joined me over there, I do kind of a mix of all, like Daily Alchemy as well as personal essays and some poetry. So if you would like to join me over there, you always can. The information is going to be in the description box below and the comment section. The first comment, I'll pin it. Okay, so even if you join as a free member, you will still have access to quite a bit of content. So yeah, I invite you to hang out over at Substack with me. It's also another way to support me in what it is I've come here to do, which is to help us all make this transition into this new earth. Okay, so Daily Alchemy with Solarah, you can find selected audio messages that are my Daily Alchemy articles that I have recorded with my voice to share with the collective, to help you if you feel like that is going to be something that will support you in this time of density and to help you feel more balanced in your own power. I invite you to subscribe over there, or to just avail yourself of the messages, okay? The second announcement I have is that, before I get into the second announcement, I will say that I had my first Q&A for my Substack patrons last week Sunday, and it was a beautiful turnout, and it was wonderful to be able to connect with some of you guys face to face, and I'm so grateful for the people that this channel and Substack have brought into my life and are bringing together. So it was a wonderful little turnout. It was I enjoyed hearing where you were from, your backgrounds, your situations, as well as being able to answer your questions and to provide you with the guidance that you needed at that time. So that is a monthly occurrence for all of my monthly and annual patrons over on Substack. Is a monthly Q&A, and the next one is Sunday, March the 24th, okay? Now, the second announcement is that I am having my first TAROTSTROLOGY Q&A, which is open to the collective. You can purchase access through my Ko-Fi. There are only 15 spots available because the whole point is to keep it private, because we will be delving into one of your tarot astrology placements, one of your astrology placements. I will be breaking it down through the art of tarot astrology, where I channel, use numerology, use astrology to get to the bottom of part of your cosmological story, who you actually are beyond the veil. That's what my tarot astrology is ultimately aimed at. It's helping you to uncover who you truly are beyond the veil. So if you are interested in attending next week's Tarot Astrology Q&A, it's Sunday, March the 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are 15 spots available, and I just posted this now on my Ko-Fi. Then I invite you to go over there and to purchase a spot. And then what I'm going to need you to do is to send me an email. All this information is over on Ko-Fi also. Send me an email with your birth chart information. Please know that your birth chart information will be kept completely private between you and I. You will, the only thing that people in the session will hear is the placement and any information from your chart that is pertinent, but no one will have access to your actual chart. And when the session is closed, I delete charts. And I do this personally with all, I don't keep energy windows open. For one thing, it's a matter of integrity, right? Because by universal law, I'm not here to delve into people's energy past their conscious consent. What they've said to me is okay. But also as a channel, as a person who channels, I can't keep all those doors open, right? So just so you know, if there's any like privacy concerns, I do want to assure you that that is how I work, okay? So yes, the first one is next week, Sunday, and after, I will be continually doing these on a monthly basis, Tarot Astrology Q&A, so if you miss this one, don't worry, there will be more in the future, but this first gathering is going to be any placement that you want me to look at, and if we have time, we might even be able to get into more than one placement for you guys, but the whole point is that each of you is able to leave with a clear understanding of at least one placement from your chart. Okay, so starting next month, I will be focusing specifically on like planets and luminaries. So for the month of April, the Tarot Astrology Q&A will be about the planet Mars. So as such, we will be delving into your Mars placement, and I will be sharing with you, you know, from the standpoint of how I read energies, what Mars is actually here to do, especially at this time of ascension and shifting, because I want you to understand and understand that as we ascend, so do the planets, okay? The planets are shifting and changing and evolving, and we are connecting with that evolved energy, and as such, even astrology as we've known it is going to be shifting and changing, okay? So next month we will be looking at Mars placements specifically. Next week it's an open house in the sense that you can choose whatever placement from your chart that you would like. So all links and information for joining that will be in the description box and comment box below, and I will also put it on all my community boards, Solarah Rises, Solarah Speaks, and Daily Alchemy with Solarah. Okay, so admin stuff out of the way. We are at 9:46. Let me just write that down so I have that for the timestamp. Okay, so very interestingly enough, today is the 3rd of March, right? So Sunday, 3rd of March, as I record it, is the 3-3 portal. And what I found to be very, very interesting about this is that on Thursday, February the 29th, which was the final day of February, and because it's a leap year, it was the 29th, right? So it's a leap year, 2024, a leap year. So we have this one extra day, the 29th of February. So on this, the leap day is said to open a portal, right? Also, where you can go forward in time, timeline jump, however you want to see it. So on Thursday, February the 29th, if you break down the numerology for that day, that broke down to a number 3. Okay, so you break down 29 plus 2 plus 2024, you will get to 3. Now, the following day, Friday, the 1st of March, if you break down 3 plus 1 plus 2024, you again break down to a 3, right? So you have Thursday and Friday, 3-3 days. Days that were holding the frequential resonance of the number 3, Thursday and Friday. Leap year day, last day of February, first day of March, okay? And then we have Sunday, the 3rd of March, 3-3 portal. So yesterday was kind of a day of integration. You may have felt a little bit, when we have these portals, these gates, these opportunities to timeline jump magnanimously. There are certain days where you integrate that energy and you feel like you've been like dragged backwards somewhere, but really you're just catching up, or you feel tired, or you feel more agitated or anxious. All of that can be indicative of timeline jumping, okay, whether you're going backwards or forwards. Okay, it doesn't really matter. You still will have the same feeling, right? And actually, when you're timeline jumping forward, you might actually feel more tired and disoriented, okay? You might feel like there's something you need to catch up to, kind of like when you travel. And you, I was writing about this in Daily Alchemy a few days ago, when you travel and you move forward in time, it feels a little bit more disorienting than when you move backwards in time. Okay, so what is interesting about this, right? Not only is, we have that 3-3 energy of the Thursday and the Friday, the first and the last day of the month, and then we have today's 3-3 portal. 3-3 is connected to so many things, right? It's a number of mastery. It's the number that they say, it's the number of years they say Jesus lived on the earth, which is not 100% true, but it was to transfer. The reason they did that was to transfer the resonance and the mastery and the true meaning of that number 3-3, and to get us to direct our energy towards their narrative. It's not necessarily true, but it doesn't matter, because either way, 33 is a number of profound mastery. Now, the way I see a lot of these so-called angel numbers, as we like to call them in the Matrix, 33, 33, 22, 22, 11, they are all gateway frequencies that align us with certain things. So for example, 1111 is the call of Aquarius, right? It's the call of the Aquarian age. It's the call of the light worker. 11 is connected to the 11th house, which is an Aquarian energy. And 1111 is the beginning of a gateway series, okay? And then you begin to see the gateway series unravel in different numbers. And there's some kind of big gateway that has occurred, gateway opening and alignment that has occurred through this 3-3 window from Thursday and Friday, that's also being cemented today through this 3-3 portal number, 3-3 portal day. And as such, like I said to you before, a leap year is all about leaping forward through time, right? But in the matrix, they use that to pull people back in time. Because things are being put back into balance right now, that portal has served as a way to pull people back to where they're supposed to be in terms of their timelines for as long, and this is always down to free will. This will always be the energy that has become available to you for as long as you are able to align to it with your own frequency. And your frequency will always come down to what it is you think and you feel, and the belief system you create off of that. That's what a frequency is. So if you believe yourself to be, something you're not, like less value, and you begin to feel that about yourself, and you begin to create belief systems around that support that feeling and thinking that you're less than, that's what stabilizes a frequency outside of your truth. And that's what the Matrix wanted us all living in. Now, what's important about this 3-3 portal, 3-3 day, however you want to see it, is that, for one thing, 3-3 denotes mastery. So those of you who are masters are getting your mastery back for as long as you are in tune with your cosmological truth of who you are. Do you know that you're a master? Do you know the area that you have mastery? Do you know it because you sense it? Do you know it because you've confirmed it for yourself? Do you know who you are? Okay? Now, what's also really interesting about this is that today's 3-3, as I say this, it's 11:44 on my clock. Today's 3-3 portal is a 3-3-8 portal. And it's a 3-3-8 because 3 is the third day of March, the third month, and 2024, 8, right? Now, what is interesting about this is that the last leap year that we had, the numbers broke down to an 8. So if you break down 29 plus 2 plus 20, 20. One second, was it an 8? 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 2 is 13. Yeah, it broke down to an 8. I was so confused. 2020, yeah. It broke down to an 8. It was a number 17. And let me break down the... Yeah, it broke down to an 8. Let me just do this quickly because I want to just make sure. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So yes, 2020, I lost it for a moment in the math. 2020's leap year. If you look at the 29th of February and the 1st of March, that also broke down to double numbers, right? But it broke down to 8. It broke down to 8, 8, okay? And then we entered into the 3-3 portal. And then all hell began to break loose on our planet globally, right? Because the lockdowns occurred sometime in March. Now, why is this important? Because what occurred in 2020 was a lot of timeline fuckery to try to delay ascension, and most importantly, to try to delay your awakening, and most importantly, to try to delay the awakening of those beings who frequentially, when they are in divine alignment, are gatekeepers and key holders. What does that mean? This means that, like I said to you, some of you have mastery in certain energies that you were sent here very specifically to be able to activate, but you only activate those energies by being in alignment with your truth and your power and who you are cosmologically, which is why the Matrix did everything it could to drag you into lower realities so you wouldn't access your truth. 2020 through that window, there was a lot of fuckery that they did to, again, try to pull us back and out of our organic possible timelines, because you have many organic timelines that are possible. Your timelines are dependent upon you walking in your truth and what it is you decide you want to create. So you have many possibilities in terms of organic timelines. The inorganic timelines are where energies have been fucked with purposely in order to pull you down so that you're not able to rise into the frequency you need to be in to connect with your organic timelines, okay? Now, every leap year, they do this. So they use our lack of wisdom about who we are to pull us back so that they can move forward, right? And they can use our access to move forward. And please, and this is kind of complex, I don't really want to go too deep into it because this is a shorter message. Please know that the way that these beings were timeline jumping and creating timeline fuckery was they were creating loopholes within universal law, a myriad of ways, one of which was through the wounded child, the perpetual wounding of children and child energy through the matrix in order to put their karma on the innocent. That's one way they were doing it. It was karmic transference. Okay, which is why they were involved in all of those fucked up rituals, right? But another, what was I going to say? I lost it. It will come back. Hold on a second. Let me grab myself. Timeline fuckery. That's what I was speaking about. Another way they were doing this was by playing with opening up wormholes. It's not necessarily legal to open up wormholes. When you are a divine being who's in alignment with your truth and you haven't lost access to your gates because of fucked up things that you've done, you've just lost access to them because you've forgotten who you are and you're living below your truth. But you still have access to it within your fields, okay? They don't necessarily have access to your gates, but they want to keep you from accessing it, because the minute you access your truth and you bring yourself back into alignment and you begin to open gates cosmologically that they've been keeping shut by keeping you in a lower frequency, the minute they do that, also all of the shit they've been doing illegally and the loophole energies they've been creating through fucking around with universal law, karmic transference, opening wormholes to travel to places they're not supposed to go to because they don't have the authority to do that, but you do, right? The minute that you come into alignment with your truth is the moment that they begin to lose access to these things. And it's the moment where the gates that they've been keeping shut in order to have their matrix system alive, their false matrix system alive that kept you in lockdown, that kept the earth in lockdown, is the minute that those things begin to collapse. And those things were already happening, right? They were happening before so many of us even knew or were able to know who we were cosmologically. And in 2020, all of that was about resetting. Okay, so they tried to, and they did it at every turn, every possibility to fuck with you in 2020 with the dates, with the portals, with the gates. They did it. Okay, but I want to talk about this particular leap year in 2020, because the leap year this year is helping you to come back into alignment with what was fucked with through that window. And what do I mean by that? In 2020, many of you may have begun to wake up to who you are as multidimensional beings. And if you already knew who you were, you may have begun to access higher aspects of your truth. Okay, throughout that lockdown period, there was very interesting things happening all the way up to, I want to say, about Cancer season, around the time of the heliacal rising of Sirius, I would say. Okay, so in that time frame, you may have been able to access some of your gifts again, okay, that you didn't even know you had. And then all of a sudden in the fall, or in the autumn of 2020, this heaviness may have begun to enter your reality and you weren't able to do the things you were doing before. In other words, earlier on in the year, you began to have a bit of a taste and a connection with your multidimensional power, but because you were still waking up and you didn't know how yet to wield that, you were not yet able to sustain the attacks that came in really heavily to try to push you under again. Okay, so what it feels like, because what we have today is a 338 number, gateway portal day, however you want to see it. And when you break down 3, 3, and 8, it actually also breaks down into a 5. So this speaks about the shift, the change. It speaks about also a shifting systemically and institutionally, which goes beyond just the false matrix. It extends into the cosmos too in different ways. I'm trying my best to explain this and break it down in a way that it's not too whoosh over the head, because it feels that way sometimes when I'm channeling this information. But anyway, so today's gateway is helping you not only connect with your mastery, because it's a 3-3, but it's helping you to take back what the time fuckery stole through the last leap year. And I would venture to say that for some of you, this fuckery has been occurring on every leap year. You are able, in accordance with your ability to stand in your own true frequency, you're able to call back a lot of what was lost through the timeline fuckery, specifically done through leap years. Because understand and overstand that every leap year, the numbers of the 29th and the 1st of March will always be the same, which shows you it's some kind of a gate that then is solidified 2 days later through the 3-3 portal. It just so happens that this year it's a 3-3-3, okay? Whereas, 2020, for example, it was 8-8, and then the 3-3 portal. Okay, so it also shows you that in 2020, what they were actually after was, it had everything to do with your galactic codes that were coming through the 8-8 window. In other words, 2020 was one of the grandest attempted heist of divine beings' galactic codes, probably to date. Okay, so every year they tried to steal your galactic codes, every year, before you even knew who you were. That's what the 8-8 portal is. Now they've been becoming more and more desperate. They've even utilized spirituality and the fact that people get together on these dates. They've utilized all of that to try to access you more, as they were losing their ability to do it because of ascension, because of the changes that were coming forth. And so 2020 was like a grand heist, or a grand attempted heist. And for many of you, that grand attempted heist of your 8-8 codes is exactly what woke you up even further. Even if it took you down first, it woke you up higher into your truth, because they weren't able frequently to keep the veil over your eyes anymore. You see, in order for them to keep you blinded to your truth, the earth had to be at a lower frequency. But because the earth has been rising in frequency, there are certain things that cannot be hidden unless you just want to go along with them. I hope that makes sense. In other words, there are no, for all intensive purposes right now, there are no real veils anymore. Okay? There are veils to people's understanding because they have to rise into their frequential truth. And when you rise into frequential truth, then you see all things as they are. So there are veils to people's understanding, but they are not veils that are collectively part of the matrix anymore. That part has collapsed. And as we rise in our own frequency and we collapse the internal veils to our own inner and overstanding, as we do that, then we begin to see that there's no veil. Once upon a time, that wasn't possible, if that makes sense. Once upon a time, the frequency of the earth, because it had been put into a lockdown state, you weren't able to connect with the truth externally, even if you were connecting with it internally. And now all of that is being put back into rightful order, because you are an electromagnetic being who is creating your reality based upon your frequency. And your frequency is established based upon what you think and you feel about yourself and what is possible for you. So the more an energy can pull you out of believing in yourself, the more, first and foremost, it opens you up to not being protected. You gain protection as you align higher with your own frequency. You gain more divine protections. So this is why I said at the beginning of my video, I said, we're not here to be messing around with frequencies or people who we're not in frequential alignment with, right? And that means if a person is not pulling you up out of a density or helping you to maintain balance in the frequency you already have, they don't belong in your energy at this point. They don't, and that's on you if you continue to let them, because we all have always had personal responsibility, even when we felt we didn't, which is a whole other story. So this whole 338 day is about reclaiming the time that was lost through the fuckery that occurred in the last leap year, where there was a lot that was going on in order to hijack a lot of your galactic codes and access. Your galactic codes give you access also. They do a lot of things, but one thing is they help to like reinstate your access. So think about it like, when you're in school or when you're in university and you have an ID card that gets you everywhere into all the buildings. And every year when you go back to university, you have to register again in order to regain access. For your card to be updated so you regain access. In other words, the ones who were there and graduated or left or didn't pay their tuition, they're not able to use the ID card they've used every year to get into every building anymore. They no longer have access. Your galactic codes are there to help what would be the word? Like reinstate your access every year, because some of you are gatekeepers, key holders. You're the ones that they've wanted to keep in the lowest of densities so you wouldn't awaken to that, so you wouldn't be able to be activated and reinstated and then know how to utilize the power of your gatekeeping energy to free yourself and others. Okay, so because so many of us were coming online so rapidly in 2020, which is partly why everything occurred the way it did in the world. For a whole bunch of reasons, but one of the reasons was that it was to, harvest our fear and to put us into a lower frequency. But for many of you, you weren't pulled into a lower frequency to that, so it didn't work. Many of you actually began to meditate and you began to realize, wait a minute, I don't like being around people, because you began to recognize, wait a minute, I've been being siphoned. They weren't banking on that, or they were hoping against it. So 2020, they took out all their big guns, okay? And then not only was it a leap year, but the nodes were in Cancer and Capricorn, which are the energies that bring stability to the Earth's grid systems. The grids are connected to the 4th and the 10th house, Cancer and Capricorn. Imam Koli energy, your IC and your MC, are the 4th and the 10th house, windows into your 4th and your those are the signs through which the energetic and frequential foundation of the earth are founded upon. That's why we have the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So when I say that 2020 was like they pulled all the rabbits out of their hats to stop you, that's what occurred. And in the past 4 years, you may be feeling like you've lost so much, especially since that time in the fuckery, but really what's been happening is that you've been waking up to the battle that you already were engaged in, but this time around, instead of the battle, all of the fuckery, the spells, the shit that they've always been casting towards you, instead of it just like deactivating you without you knowing, what it's been doing is you've been waking up and you've been fighting against it, and you've been rising and activating yourself back into your truth. And so I say all of this because it feels like there's this huge ass window, this huge ass like portal, or this activation that is occurring through today's 3-3 portal, to get back what it was that was lost. And if there's any thread that is coming through all of these shorter readings right now, it is this. And maybe I'm not even going to go any farther. Maybe I'm just going to cut off now and go into another reading and have this be kind of what I help people to refer back to in any reading in terms of the underlying energies of why this is happening right now. Because the theme for all of the energies coming through, they're so similar, and yet my guides are saying do it separately. And yet they wanted me to talk about this 3-3 thing. So what I will do is I will go into the reading that this is directly connected to, but I will also use this as a reference reading for the other ones if I need it. Okay, so what they were saying to me is, they said 3-3 master gates. Getting your vision back, seeing things clearly. Getting your vision back, seeing things clearly. There have been other beings riding your ship. You, as an energetic being, are like a spaceship or like a car, okay? You're a vehicle. And there have been other drivers behind your wheel all this time, and you didn't know. And it feels like today's alignment is giving you the opportunity to drive your own vehicle, but it's more than driving your own vehicle. You have not been seeing the world through your own eyes, and you are going to be able to do that again for as long as, again, this is not like a given. This is as long as you have chosen to align with your truth, to own it, to believe it, to walk in it. It doesn't mean you don't stumble at times, which is still what brings you back is your truth. Some of you have not been seeing yourselves clearly. You don't see your beauty, you don't see your glory, you don't see your wonder, you don't see your magic, and that was purposeful. Because for you to be able to see those things, you have to be in alignment with self. You have to no longer be fighting these internal wars. And for you to do that, to see yourself clearly, means that you would have access again to who you truly are. And again, some of you are masters at certain things. Some of you are gatekeepers. There's so many, there's so many different, I had candles going and I just want to make sure that, okay. There are so many different aspects of who you are that are coming back online right now, that you've been blinded and locked out of. And if there's one theme that's coming through in all of these different messages, it would be that. Okay, so through this 3-3 gateway today, okay, you are getting your vision back in order to see things clearly, see yourself clearly. When you see yourself clearly, you no longer are making decisions that harm you. You're no longer making decisions based upon seeing yourself as anything other than the asset that you are. I don't know how to explain this other than to say that the Matrix teaches us all to constantly make concessions and to lower our value in order to be accepted or to move to the next step. And there's no more of that. When you see who you are, when you see your value, you will not shortchange yourself anymore. When you see who you are, when you see your value, you will no longer shortchange yourself anymore. And these programs were designed for you to shortchange yourself because you weren't seeing who you actually are. You weren't able to access your frequency, your true frequency. Because again, I'm going to say it, your frequency is established by how you think and feel about yourself, based upon many things, based upon access to your spiritual truth, based upon the people you surround yourself with, whether they say things to you or not, it doesn't matter. You're a being that picks up on frequencies and vibrations. So a person can be smiling in your face all day long, and if they are not in alignment with your energy, you will feel it, and you will feel it in different ways. Sometimes it's not that feeling like, in your gut, like, like you feel something about that person. Sometimes what your energy field will show you is, this person isn't right for me because all of a sudden I'm just not feeling good about myself in their presence. I'm not feeling good about myself in their presence. No matter what they're saying to me, there's something about them that's making me feel like I'm in lack. And that's a lie, because you have everything you need. And sometimes that is your own wounding, but sometimes that's also another being's like frequency incompatibility with you. So you know, be aware of that, because you know, and then in that way we tend to then make concessions. Oh, I'm just being paranoid. I'm just reading too much into it and all that other stuff. No, you're not. When you're in alignment with your own frequency, you feel good. When you are in alignment with beings whose frequency matches yours, you feel at home. You feel good too. It's not that everything's always hunky-dory. You guys have to do the work to maintain the beauty of that frequency, but for the most part, you feel safe being who you are. When you don't, you need to question it. Either it's your own wounding and they're triggering it, or it's their frequency. And you need to decide what you're going to do about it. But the point of the matter is that this 3-3 gateway is helping you to get your vision back. And when I say your vision, I'm not even just talking about seeing things clearly as you are. I mean, some of you have lost your vision because of all of the despairing cycles you've been through. You've lost your focus and your grip on all the things that you wanted to do, and you've settled with surviving. And that's not who you are and who you came here to be. You came here to shine. You came here to connect with your joy, and you came here to live what this fucked up inversion that they call the Matrix tried to make you believe is a dream. It's not. And here's another thing, because we are in the one zodiac sign ruled by Neptune, there are no other zodiac signs that are ruled by Neptune. It's only Pisces. Pisces season is what connects you to the dream, connects you to your divine contracts. Neptune is like the holder of your divine contracts, and the Matrix tells you it's a dream, it's your imagination. That's bollocks. That's bollocks. And you know why Neptune also in its lower energy connects you to addiction and alcoholism and drug abuse and all those other things? Because a dream deferred makes the heart sick. That's in the Bible. A dream deferred makes the heart sick. People who become addicted and want to escape, because addiction a lot of the time is many things, but one of the things it is escapism. It's because they feel they can't access something that they've seen, and they can't hold it, and they can't sustain it, and they can't maintain it, and that breaks a heart. But it doesn't only break a heart, it breaks the spirit. Okay? So it's like through this portal, you are being gifted back the opportunity to connect. Not only see yourself clearly, but to connect with your vision. Some of you are divine counterparts, and you've been through these fucking matrix cycles and karmic fuckery to the extent where you no longer even believe it's possible or believe in love. And you think that your desire to be alone is based upon your power, but it's based upon the woundedness of the cycle that stole your dream and vision. Because if you once wanted love, if you ever wanted love, that's part of what your soul desired, and it still can be yours. But these cycles wanted to lie to you and make you no longer see yourself and your life clearly, as if your life and everything that you are here to create is under the lock and key of the fucking matrix. It's not. It's not. Everything they told you about you was a lie. Aging is a lie. We age because of the oxidative stress that we are constantly accumulating because we don't know how to look after ourselves. And because we're constantly made to be sick and stressed, and then we're not told how to properly look after ourselves. You were not designed for sickness, death, and dis-ease. That's a matrix spell that we've all bought into, and we are undoing bit by bit. But if you don't believe, if you don't think that it's possible, then you will continue to be spellbound. And this is where they got us all, but it feels like through this 3-3 gateway, there is an opportunity to, some of you have been fighting spells, and you're not even aware that you were under some huge ass spell. You've just been fighting little parts of it. And it feels like there is the possibility for the hugeness of the main spell to be broken. You've been breaking spells to get you to this point, in other words. Getting your vision back, seeing things clearly through these 33 gates of mastery. You are able to get your mastery back. You're able not only to get your mastery back, but it's like you're able to get the master plan back. There's a master plan, a divine blueprint, actualize, I call it your gold print. But it's real, and it was stolen from you. And it was stolen from you every time you were caused to believe things about yourself that weren't true in order to devalue you and to get you to live a reality that doesn't match your divine destiny. Feeling this Rebecca Campbell deck. I think it's called Work Your Light. Speaking to me. I'm going to get a card, then I'm going to close it out so I can get to the other readings that are actually going to be readings, but I felt like I had to get to the bottom of the main theme underneath some of these readings. And then, of course, the readings, you'll go into them and we'll find out more details. Okay? The ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. The ever unfolding rose. I haven't turned the other card around yet. What I'm feeling with this is like, there was this line from this song that was coming through, not today, but Friday when I was like getting downloads. I meant to come on here for a longer reading, but I'm going to pull this from the downloads I was getting. It was from a song. It's called, it's a John Legend song. Yeah. And there was one lyric that I just kept on hearing. It goes, I want to take you so far out past the Saturn rings and into my heart. I want to take you so far out past the Saturn rings and into my heart. And like 2 weeks ago, I did a weekend alchemy, a daily alchemy on a Sunday that I released. It's on my Daily Alchemy with Solarah. If I remember, I will post the link to that in the description box and comments because it's available in audio. But I was speaking about the breaking of the Saturnian ring magic. Okay, so there were many veils of illusion that we were under. There were many magical layers to spells that we fell under. And it feels like, I said to you before, like we've been breaking the smaller spells to get to the ability to break the grand one. And it feels like we've been peeling away the intricacies that made something up. It's almost like when you have something together, it's been screwed together, some kind of structure you've built, and you've been taking the screws out, and somehow the structure could still stand, even though the screws were out, until you take out those last few screws, and then it can't anymore. It's like we've been taking screws out, and now everything that we have unveiled, we have dismantled, must now fall apart. It has fallen apart. It's not, it's now must fall apart. It has fallen apart. And now it's like, can we access it? And the only way to access it is by knowing, by disabling all victim programs. Because we were victimized, but we're not victims. We're victorious now. But everything will want to drag us back into the victim mindset that we can't get out. And you already are out. The only thing that's keeping many people stuck right now are the veils that are over their own understanding that are keeping them in victim mode, thinking that they can't, thinking that you can't, thinking that I can't. But there's something about this 3-3 portal that's giving giving back hope also. And this is what Neptunian energy is also. It connects you to hope. Jupiter connects you to faith, and Neptune connects you to hope, and it opens the gateway to love. That's what Pisces season is about too. It's what leads you into love. Real love. Inner temple. Devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. I did a daily alchemy earlier on this week. It was called Find Your Door. And if I remember, I'll post it again in the description box in the comments below. Because when we get into Pisces season, Pisces is the last sign on the zodiac wheel. It is the way out into a higher cycle. But the thing about the Pisces energy is that the doorway out is not obvious. And the doorway out can only be found internally. It's inside of you. It's through your heart. And it's the doorway out is what aligns you to, the doorway out is what it will open you up to in terms of the next cycle is always going to be in alignment with your frequency, which is what are you thinking and feeling about yourself? What stories are you believing about yourself? And are they true? And do you believe the stories more than you believe your truth? Are you able to connect with the truth so profoundly that when those stories try to come and reroute themselves in your mind and in your heart, that you tell them to go fuck off, you're an imposter? The doorway out has always been through you, and Pisces season gives you the doorway back to love. It gives you the doorway back to your innocence, who you truly are, back to love. Remember, I said faith and hope. Faith is connected to Jupiter. Jupiter rules over Sagittarius. I believe the moon is in Sagittarius today. Jupiter connects to faith. Neptune connects to hope. Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. Faith and hope, they connect you with your ability to believe in yourself and your ability to connect with that hope in your heart. The faith is connected to your mind. The hope is connected to your heart. And when you're able to combine those two together, believe in who you actually are, and to align your heart with that truth, then you open the doorway to love. You open the doorway to your innocence. And this is what that famous scripture is that everyone that reads at their weddings and they don't get what it's actually telling you. If I speak in the languages of angels, but I have not love, I am nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not seek its own. I forget, I'm paraphrasing, I used to know it completely off heart, but I don't anymore. And it goes at the end of it says, and now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Faith and hope are what get you home to love. And if you go, I believe faith, hope, and hope are supposed to be the twin flames of Archangel Michael and maybe Archangel Gabriel, I forget now. But either way, what you need to know, faith and hope are what bring you home to love. And love is source. Love is you being in alignment with who you truthfully are. Love is you returning home to self. And when you return home to self, you return home to source. Love is being able to connect with yourself so deeply that you get everything back that you've lost. You recover it through love, through walking through the gateway that gets you back into love. Love is the ultimate alignment. And this is what it feels like. This gate today is really helping to solidify. Okay, so I have all of these shorter readings I want to do, so I'm going to get going. But I'm sending you guys so much love, joy, peace. Yeah. For all information on how to work with me, you can find that out through my website, solarah.info. All information on donating to the channel is also going to be in the description box below and the comment section. But yeah, I'm going to see you guys again soon. Take care.